All right, I'm confused. Are people of color trying to get ahead or not?
Wing time.
That was fast.
I even refilled your Coke.
Some wings you just can't wait to tailgate with.
Excuse me. You left your head.
We don't make sense. We make chicken.
I know some people will say because this is a black issue that I should just mind my business. I mind my business plenty, and then when I'm done with that, I mind everybody else's. This channel was built on minding other people's business. What's up, everybody? Ty Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. Okay, so here's the deal. I saw this earlier today when I was scrolling online. I've told you guys before, I pay attention to the black blogs. They're a lot of fun a lot of times, but I noticed that they're gonna have to really recalibrate what it is they're doing because they're still really trying to push the race thing. And I will talk about this particular commercial, which is just a simple Popeyes commercial and to me harmless. But what they shared it with was the text: social media users aren't here for Popeye's newest commercial. Quote, racist AF. And then it's somebody that shared the commercial and it says that Popeye's commercial was racist AF. Why the black guy had to show up with some chicken, LOL. Let me break it down for you. Black people are known for liking fried chicken.
We love this new extra crispy boneless.
I'm sorry if that comes off a particular way. I'm sorry if I had to be the one to break it to you. I personally absolutely love fried chicken. I love fried chicken so much. I used to have a joke about it in my set, but I always know that if I want to get the best fried chicken, I'm either going to have to go to a soul food spot, which is going to be black owned, or I'm going to have to go to a racist white lady. Those are the people that make the best fried chicken. You're either a black person or you're Paula Deen, which don't get me started on the Paula Deen situation. But the truth of the matter is black people and fried chicken in this country just have become an American institution and the gold standard. But I read the comments and I'll read some of the comments to you that people were saying. And really, it just seems to be the most unintelligent people not understanding when you do this kind of stuff and try to make it a big deal and make it seem a way that it's not, you are scaring that business in some cases from giving people what can be huge opportunities because you can't get past the part that racism is constantly playing in your head. I have friends that have been in various commercials, which I'm not up on the newest rates because it's been quite a while since I've been in LA. But when I was in LA, a national commercial would rake in $20,000 for the person that was actually the main actor in the commercial. Sometimes as much as $40,000. People have made over $100,000 for one commercial, and the $20,000 or the $40,000 was when the commercial would first play, and then you would get residuals from there. So that's how people make over $100,000 off of just one commercial. And when it comes to the fact that a black guy is basically the principal in this commercial, he wasn't playing a gangster of any sort. He wasn't doing anything embarrassing. It wasn't like they had him really play it up. The guy was playing a mascot, which I don't know what anybody else thinks, but I always thought a mascot was a really cool thing to be. There was a comedian by the name of Siddiqui Fuller that has since passed. R.I.P. Siddiqui Fuller. A lot of us love Siddiqui Fuller. Just a great, great guy. But he was a mascot, and all of us thought it was cool, all the tricks that he could do. And so I don't know how that's considered a bad thing, but there was somebody that mentioned in a comment the part when he said, I refilled your Coke.
I even refilled your Coke.
Like that suddenly means, I guess because he said that to a white girl, that he's somehow her slave or her servant. None of us are thinking about it that deep. So if you want to ruin an opportunity in life for a young black man and act like you're being pro-black by doing that, I have to say that we don't live in the same world. And I know some people will say because this is a black issue that I should just mind my business. I mind my business plenty, and then when I'm done with that, I mind everybody else's. I don't know if you're familiar with this channel, but this channel was built on minding other people's business. Business is huge around here. Outside of that though, this really does seem like a crabs in a barrel situation where they see somebody has something good going on in their life, and rather than congratulate that person, instead they want to bring that person down. And the way that I think that this is really sinister is because who knows, this particular guy that was in this commercial it could turn into him possibly being a spokesperson for Popeyes. There was that other woman that was the spokeswoman.
You are good, Annie.
Not half as good as my shrimp.
And I saw somebody in one of the comments, remember that black lady that used to do it and she sold out for whatever. She wasn't even the owner of Popeyes. And it's like, since when does anybody have to be the owner in order for them to be the spokesperson? And if they're making a bunch of money being the spokesperson and not being the owner, why would anybody care? Why would anybody begrudge them that opportunity? Dave Thomas is the founder of Wendy's. I don't know if he still owns all of Wendy's. I don't know if he's just a figurehead for Wendy's, nor do I care. Flo, I don't think any of us are under any misgivings and think that Flo owns Progressive Auto Insurance. So that has nothing to do with anything as far as I go. But as far as why I concern myself with this kind of thing, is because I see it happening all the time with marginalized communities, and you're never going to get perfect representation. But before I get too ahead of myself, let me read some of these comments that basically say nothing. Like, this is the level of dumb you're dealing with. And when you have people like this that are complaining, you should know you're doing something right, because you do not in any way want to be caught up in the stupidity that people that leave these kinds of comments are caught up in. And if you don't understand what I'm saying by the time I'm done with it, I'll explain it. Before we go any further, I just want to ask you to do me the favor of liking, commenting, and subscribing. We're on our way to 100,000 followers. We're making great progress. Please subscribe to the channel. Also, leave me a comment, because I know some of you are going to have feelings just like I did. So please subscribe. Now on with the video. So, comment. That Popeyes commercial was weird AF. Okay, I don't know what's weird about tailgating and having wings. A lot of people have wings to tailgate, but let's go on. That Game Time Wing Time commercial from Popeyes is racist AF. No way in hell that passed a focus group. It actually probably did. Let's keep going. The Popeyes commercial felt racist AF. Just wrong what Popeyes did putting that guy in the commercial. I know y'all saw it too. Am I tripping, or have y'all seen the Popeyes commercial? Popeyes marketing team needs their butt whooped with the commercial I just saw. And then finally, the guy himself, the actor, responded, and he responded with, hey, that's me in the commercial. I don't think it's racist at all. I loved the commercial and had a great time on set. Thank you, Popeyes, for the opportunity. And that's what it's really about, is an opportunity and a person to actually have a chance to get ahead. And with people of color or people in marginalized communities, when I said that you'll never have perfect representation, what I meant was I pay quite a bit of attention to Black culture specifically. And the thing with Black culture is nobody's ever going to be perfect, and that they're going to be too dark, too light. They look like they're mixed. Their lips were too big. That's one of the comments somebody left about this guy, is that his lips looked too dry and his lips were too big. And it's like, it's not like this guy had any kind of cosmetic surgery to do anything to himself to make himself look more the part for this supposedly racist situation, which I still can't understand how it's racist. I really don't get that. And yeah, like I said in the beginning, maybe it's because a black guy shows up with chicken for a tailgate party, but it's not uncommon for me to show up to a party with something very ethnic. A lot of times I'll bring conchas, or I'll bring something that's very Mexican, and it's not to be stereotypical, but it's just like, okay, well, I know everybody else is going to bring like cookies and pies and stuff like that. And me being Mexican, I know where a good bakery is that sells good conchas. Here in Austin, it was hard to find. So I don't see anything wrong with it at all as far as that goes. But where I think it goes wrong is, like I said, you end up costing people a lot of opportunities because they feel like no matter what, they could possibly get canceled. And I was thankful to see that a lot of people in the comments on that particular Instagram post weren't really down with it. And I'll read those comments to you in just a second. But I want you guys to know that this costs people in all marginalized communities opportunities, because people get scared. Like, I was just recently hearing the story about Snow White. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs had a revamp, and that's going terribly, which maybe I'll talk about that at some point. But the girl that's supposed to play Snow White, Rachel Zegler is her name, is saying all sorts of stuff that is supposedly woke And so it has become this PR nightmare. But the part that I want to talk about is they even tried this thing with the Seven Dwarfs, where people had started calling them the DEI Seven Dwarfs because they were like queer and different ridiculous stuff that nobody wanted. And I didn't know the backstory behind that, but I was recently watching an interview with a guy that's really well known in the dwarf community. Technically, he's from the world of adult cinema. He's the most popular dwarf in gay adult cinema. And he was talking about the fact that Peter Dinklage had made a call to the execs of Disney when he first heard they were doing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And Peter Dinklage had said something like, "You're going to be having dwarfs on Snow White, you better get it right." And so the execs at Disney got nervous and they didn't want to get canceled over it. And that's how they ended up at the DEI Seven Dwarfs. And then from there, because people were outraged about that, but they still didn't want to disrespect the dwarf community, they ended up going with CGI dwarfs. So you just cost 7 different dwarf actors legitimate jobs in a major production, a Disney movie that who knows what it could have led to. And if I were a dwarf, I would have sent Peter Dinklage a message on social media and said, "Shut your little ass up. Nobody needs your help right now. We get it. You already found yours when you ended up in Game of Thrones. How about you let the rest of us get ours however we get it and just see where we take it or what we do with it? Why would you ruin this opportunity for us?" It's one of the things with gay too. A lot of times when it comes to gays being cast in anything, you have to be really stereotypical and flamey and over the top in order to get anywhere. Am I going to make that a big deal? No. Do I, on a personal level, think that it's annoying that that's the only way that we get represented? Yeah, I kind of do. But then at the same time, I do see why it is they do that. And it's because they need it to read on screen as this person is gay. And if you play it too subtle, then it's not going to read as gay. People aren't going to necessarily know that you're the gay character in that film, which is something that I personally have dealt with when I was cast in a play where I was supposed to be the gay one. Call it typecasting, but I was glad to get the money. It paid really well. But there was a point, because I was playing it like me, that the director ended up telling me, "Hey, I need you to be more gay about this." And I was like, you know what? I'm a gay man, so everything I do is naturally gay. Why is it I should go above and beyond? And he was like, "Because we need the audience to know that you are the gay character." And I was like, point taken. I'm being paid well enough for this. What do I care? Let me gay it up. Hey! I'll be as gay as you need me to be for the right price. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. When it comes to Latino, for a long time, we were in the roles of either being a gangbanger, a dropout, something like that, similar to what Black people were having to portray for a long time on screen. And now we're all starting to get more and better representation, but there are still going to be the things that are, I guess you would say, culturally sensitive or could get culturally sensitive. And I would tell most people of color, unless it is really demeaning, unless there is something really wrong with it, don't make a big deal of that. Just be thankful for the opportunity and be thankful that one of your people is getting that opportunity. Like when Latinos had their big uproar, the biggest one I can think of that was very mainstream was when Jennifer Lopez got cast as Selena. And Mexicans were mad because Selena was Mexican American, where Jennifer Lopez is Puerto Rican, which they're not the same thing. They're not even the same area. But at the same time, I, as a Latino at that time, because there were so few Latinos and Latinas being cast as the main characters in actual big budget movies that were really being promoted, that I was super excited.
Me siento muy excited.
That a Latina in general was getting that role. So I remember when everybody was so upset about that, I was just kind of like, you guys, why aren't we happy about this? Why don't we be thankful that we have a Latina that's actually playing that kind of role and not playing the maid, which J-Lo went on to play a maid later on. She played plenty of stereotypical roles for Latinas. As her career progressed, she was an abused wife. She did us dirty. And I know J-Lo's going through some stuff with the P. Diddy thing and stuff like that. If you guys want me to talk about that, maybe I'll talk about that at some point. But I don't know, because people get real sensitive when I start talking about my experience in the world and how that relates to situations like the P. Diddy situation. And so I kind of try to stay away from that, because I think a lot of people have too many feelings for what my experience would tell me that some of those stories might have played out like. Others, I agree, terrible, should not have happened, should never happen. But let's not get sidetracked. What I'm trying to get to is J-Lo was like one of the big first time Latina being cast like that. And then after that, that gave us Salma Hayek. Salma Hayek's Mexican. And then we ended up having more representation. So when you're going to make it this thing where studios should be afraid and different companies like Popeye should be afraid because they might get a bunch of blowback because they cast a black actor, don't be surprised and don't complain when fewer and fewer people of marginalized communities, whether that's black, Latino, dwarf, LGBT, whatever your marginalized community is, don't be surprised when the opportunities start to dry up, because everybody's afraid that they're going to get in trouble if they don't represent a particular community perfectly. To me, I joke, but this wasn't really about a community. This was about a guy that was playing a particular role. He was a mascot. This was obviously some game that was happening in Louisiana. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a lot of black people in Louisiana. I've been to Louisiana enough to know, and I have enough black friends from Louisiana, that black people in Louisiana are a thing. So if you ask me if they didn't have a black person in that commercial, it would make zero sense. Also, this is where it gets a bit sticky, but like I said earlier, when it comes to fried chicken, if you have a commercial for fried chicken and it doesn't have black people in it, I don't trust your fried chicken. I don't know if that's racist towards white people. I don't know if that's racist towards black people. I know there's usually Mexicans cooking the fried chicken in every restaurant anyway. So maybe it's racist to the Mexicans that cook it. Who knows what I'll be accused of? We'll see what shakes out in the comments. But I will tell you what I was happy to see in the comments of that particular post from the Neighborhood Talk, which was the blog I was on specifically. There were plenty of people that saw exactly what I saw. And so this is some of those comments. If it was a white person, y'all would still complain. Y'all complain about everything, and I mean every damn thing. Call me Helen Keller, because I don't see it nor hear nothing wrong. Y'all just voted Trump back. Okay, that's not... Okay, would it have been better to have a white person pull up with the potato salad? Now that was just unnecessary. We all know nobody wants raisins in the potato salad. You leave these white people alone. They have their own way of doing things. We don't have to understand it. We just have to avoid it. Sorry, white people, but you're not known for your potato salad. Somebody's gonna get mad in the comments about potato salad. This the most sensitive generation I've ever seen. It's a Popeyes. What else would he be bringing? Burgers? I'm so confused. LOL. What's racist? Y'all so soft. Nothing was wrong with this. People on Twitter X complain about everything. Man, who don't love Popeyes? Y'all about to make me go get a 2-piece dark. You know what? I could go for a 3-piece dark. I go 2 thighs, 1 leg, red beans and rice, and then I get mashed potatoes and gravy as well. And it only comes with 1 side, so I have to pay for the extra side. And then I ask them to give me the Louisiana hot sauce in the packets. And if they don't have that, I got you, boo. I'm like Hillary Clinton and Beyonce. I carry hot sauce in my purse. Just joking, but I do have it here at home. I always have Louisiana hot sauce, because to me, that's the best hot sauce to go on chicken. Anyway, this person is the racism in the room with us. Thank you, sir. I'm black. Can someone let me know the part I'm supposed to be offended by? Do y'all want black people to get promoted or not? Exactly to my point. People today couldn't survive the 90s. Couldn't at all. That's 100% true. Gen X, shout out to ya. Man, I watched it twice and don't see what was Can y'all enlighten me in the comments? I'm sure nobody really can. And so, like I said, I was very happy to see so many people in the comments understanding that there's nothing racist about this. Were there certain parts of what I said that could be considered racially insensitive? I don't know, and I don't really think so, because I could tell you if I was with my black friends right now, which I do have plenty, which I'm not the guy that's like, oh, I have black friends, and I think that's my license to say anything that I want, but I do know enough black people to know that most black people do have a sense of humor about these kinds of things, and most black people do, in some way, take a sense of pride in the fact that they know good chicken from bad chicken. I had one friend tell me, her name's Val, and she's a huge comedy fan in Las Vegas. I love Val. Everybody loves Val. Shout out to Val. But Val is a really huge comedy fan. She's a black woman. And one time I posted a picture of some chicken strips I was about to eat, and she was like, were those chicken strips good? And I sent back, not really. And she sent me a message. She was like, yeah, I figured as much. And I was like, how did you know? And she was like, I could tell they were dry just from the picture. I know chicken. And so I don't know why everybody's in such a hurry to make something out of nothing, other than some of these blogs have come to rely on a healthy bit of race baiting in order to continue to get clicks and to continue to start arguments in the comments so that they get more interaction. But I think more and more that's going to start to fall away, because as these comments show, more and more people just aren't having it, and they're just getting like, yeah, if you're gonna make that the center of your life and every argument that you ever have, then nobody needs to hear you and it all means nothing. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you want to see a video of me talking about something else that has gotten on other people's nerves lately, click either of these videos and feel free to read the comments. Knock yourself out. Thank you for watching. As always, this has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.
They bought into his bullshit.